Speedway Pulse Media is partnered with Paley Motorsports.
That's right. We're an official marketing agent of Sam Paley and Paley Motorsports. If you're looking to get on a super fast race car and win some races this year and get your name set in victory lane, join. Reach out to us. We can get you in touch with Sam. Why wait? Reach the millions through motorsports with Paley Motorsports today.
No better way to get involved. And, we're coming up on a 1 year anniversary of Sam taking part at Le Mans and us being on the car, the only American to sweep the podium 2 second places on the same weekend. Wow,
That's
there's
right.
no better opportunity.
That's right. Let's hop right into it. Interview 44 today. A really huge pathway. I don't really want to say it'd be a pathway to just being able to talk to his dad, but just being able to talk to him alone is great. We have Jackson Bell coming on. Obviously,
Yeah.
his dad's had so much success. He's had so much success already. Is with a great team with Copeland Motorsports, has a
Oh,
great co-driver in
yeah,
Ford Koch, and then last weekend Jeremy Fletcher, who's been a very loyal guy to our channel here at Speedway Pulse Media and everything. So it's an honor to be able to have him on today and
absolutely.
get to talk a little bit about what you're going to hear from us is a little bit about his NPC stuff, and then we even went back and did a little bit of research. He's done some stuff with Chad Boat and CB Industries at Millbridge, so we'll be referencing that a little bit today. So let's
And good
hop right on
success
into it.
in GR Cup.
That's right. Forgot about that. But without further
We've
ado,
had some,
let's hop.
yeah, let's rock and roll with it.
Let's go.
Speedway Pulse Media is partnered with Paley Motorsports.
That's right. We're an official marketing agent for Sam Paley and Paley Motorsports. If you would like to reach out to us and get in touch and get your brand on a right scratch.
Mhm.
Dang it.
I gotta quit saying motorsports. It's motorsport.
Yeah.
All right, ready? Speedway Pulse Media is partnered with Paley Motorsport.
That's right. We're an official marketing agent of Paley Motorsport and Sam Paley, along with all of his drivers. If you would like to reach out to us and get your brand on a nice, fast race car, why wait? Reach out today. Make millions through motorsports with Paley Motorsport.
No better time than now.
That's right. Look what Sam's done. And now, quick tease. There's potential we could be in Spa.
Yeah, over the weekend, Spa got announced as the second round of Mustang Challenge Invitational. Last year it
And
was at Le Mans, and Sam was the only American to sweep the podium and only American team to sweep the podium. So, you know, why wait? Who doesn't want to have their logo or name on a car at arguably one of the most historic tracks in the world, like
well,
Spa?
not only that, probably could probably go out there and beat everybody.
Yeah,
Sam's clearly proven it. Ryan Person possibly could be there next year. We haven't really spoke with Ryan. We spoke with Sam, and he said that there is a possibility, but would really be cool
still
to kind
too
of
early.
see, and it would really be cool to see Chris Clark get out there and run that too with them. But we'll just see where it goes from there.
Yeah,
Obviously, the
we're
import
still over a
fees,
year out.
right, and obviously all the import fees and stuff could play a huge role in that. So we'll really see how that fares is out. But in other words, let's go with our Watkins Gwen, Watkins Glen recap.
Yeah,
Obviously, we saw really unexpectedly Vandister Racing shut down, and YRB Racing comes in. Not only do they just come in, they get a podium in
they
Car
take
Blanche,
third.
and I'm sure I'm butchering the pronunciation of that, but Car Blanche or Blanche, however you say it. Uh, they showed very good speed, which obviously we knew the drivers for the car that we knew they were already quick, but we wasn't
That
expecting that.
that was all three of them their first WeatherTech podium. Valentine Hasek-Claude, Trent Niestep, and Marius Fossar in his IMSA debut.
Right. Which we knew Marius was already good. He's running ELMS, but now he's taking it to a
Hard.
whole other level. So congrats to them on the weekend. Really good to see Aston Martin finally starting to, I guess you could kind of say, finally starting to find their pace in the GT3s
Yeah,
this year because they have not been the fastest, and it really sucks that it's a customer car and not a factory car.
factory. Yeah, Harder Racing's had some good pace at times, but it's been on the single lap in qualifying.
Right, and
They
we
started out the
saw
year at
that.
Daytona and Sebring with podiums, but they've kind of fallen off.
Right, and we've seen that one lap speed with the Hannah movie. It was like what we and you like to call
Yeah.
it with the GT4s this weekend with Hannah putting it on pole. So
Yeah, Hannah Grisham,
yep,
was it?
Hannah Grisham was in the car, but very fast. Good to see. Good friends at MMR. They finished second overall.
Yeah, great
Uh,
weekend for him.
and might as well go ahead and shout it out. I mean, I know he wasn't in the car, but Dan Arrow, good buddy of ours. I mean, his car won.
Finally won.
I mean, it has been
A long time coming for that
right
team.
a very long time coming for the maiden victory for them, and they finally got it. So,
The first one since 2023,
oh
and
yeah,
Dan was unfortunately he took fourth in his class at Spa, but I know he probably would have liked to, been a part of. He was there in spirit, I know that, but
oh 100%.
let's take a swing to TCR and a really good friend of ours getting
That's
his
right.
first ever win in
Rocco
IMSA. Rock.
Pascarella, huge, huge. Just that's all I really know to say is huge for his career. And obviously we saw Rocco last year start out with the MX5 Cup with I believe it was BSI, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, AAG.
No, it was AAG. That's right. I knew that.
Yeah, yeah.
AAG, I saw it today about four times and still said it wrong. Started out with AAG, who's also obviously really good friends of ours. I mean, Ryan Persing, Chris Clark, uh, them we're really good friends with their PR or excuse me, Moss Calavera. Um,
Good
so
weekend for them.
obviously it
And
was a good weekend for
Mustang
them as
Challenge.
well.
Two
Another
podiums
huge
from Chris Clark.
right, another huge thing to point out. We were mentioning the broadcast. Some,
Yeah.
some something about that I don't really know. I mean, no big deal, you know.
Go
Uh,
back and watch race two. First 15 minutes or so of the race.
oh yeah,
You'll hear something
you'll
about a podcast.
yeah. That we can confirm that was us. Very humbled to be able to say that was us. Obviously, Devin Anderson's interview was mentioned in the IMSA broadcast, and
Watched
obviously,
by points leader.
right, which obviously we know Cole Lofsgaard, great driver.
Oh
We
yeah.
kind of had a feeling that he had watched our interview, and he did confirm it with us. He was trying to plan for his interview actually to make it even funnier, but sooner or later you will hear from Cole. Actually, by the time this
This
video is
is out.
out, you will have already heard from Cole. Um, Great up and coming career. Obviously we learned a lot this weekend from Cole and in his interview that obviously he said if he doesn't win the championship, he's not so sure that he won't be racing next year. So even stronger pull towards Cole Lofsgaard and that whole entire team to hopefully get the championship and keep his career going. But on the other hand of things, obviously we've seen the dominance through Porsche. We know it's going to happen. So what can we do to stop that dominance? I mean, so far it has really shown that there is nothing to do to stop the Porsche dominance, and it's really just turned into who can stop a Porsche.
Yeah, cross this weekend was kind of a Cadillac was I think had the upper hand this weekend. The BOP kind of fell in their favor, but look what happened in GTD Pro or excuse me, GTD 1-2
Right,
for Porsche.
right,
Manthey, the blue one, not Grello, and then Wright Motorsports taking second place.
right. So, like you say, obviously, wait a minute, Mantha, that would be Ryan Harvick, right?
Well, it was Hardwick's car, yeah. Ryan Hardwick, Ricardo Pereira, and oh shoot, their name's slipping me, but the blue one, the Grello one was quick. In
They
fact,
wrecked.
yeah, Lo Hattarg made his WeatherTech debut. Who's a very strong up and comer. He's a great talent in GT3. A lot of
Oh,
experience here in America. Did Career Cup.
uh, also, I do want to tap in on the huge crash that we saw in the Super Trofeo race.
Yeah, Brandon Godovic,
Brandon Godovic, obviously hard crash.
two
Hated to
S's.
hated to hear about that crash and his circumstances. Obviously transported to a local hospital. So our thoughts are with Brandon, sorry, and hoping for a speedy recovery with that. And same with our good friend Corey Howard.
Yeah,
But without further ado, we'd like to welcome in Sandy Satullo to the show. Sandy, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, doing well. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Glad to
Glad to
make
have
it
you
happen.
on.
Sorry, what was that, guys? I gotta turn my volume up here.
We're glad to have you on.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah,
happy to be here.
we'll go ahead and start it off. Sandy, we love to always, ask people this question. When did the bug bite you to start your racing career?
Yeah. I got the bug a little later than a lot of the other drivers. I guess the young drivers that are kind of coming up through the karting ranks now. So I didn't start racing until I was 20 years old. I grew up around the sport. My dad raced professionally back in the late 70s and early 80s. He raced in NASCAR in the Cup Series and but primarily in the ARCA series. And then eventually he got into endurance racing in the IMSA Firehawk series in the late 90s, late 80s, early 90s. And then when I was born, he was racing Spec Racer Fords and SCCA. So I kind of grew up at the track, and that's how I fell in love with the sport, but never really thought it was something that I could do. He tried putting me in a cart when I was little, and honestly, I made it two corners, and I got sick in my helmet. And I said, you know what? This just is not for me. Just I don't know if it was the G-force or what, but I said racing just isn't for me. So I took a long break, and then between freshman and sophomore year of college. I went to one of my dad's spec Ford races in SCCA and said, you know what, this is something I'd like to try. So and then got my racing license and really been racing spec Fords the last 10 years and now the Mustang Challenge the last 2 years and just did my first pilot challenge race this past weekend at Watkins Glen.
Right, and obviously, like you say, huge seeing your career starting so late. I mean, I started out a little bit early. I was probably 7 or 8 years old ish. I started doing dirt go-karts, but obviously, whenever high school came around, I didn't really have the time for it, so had
Yep.
to step away from it. So that's kind of why me and Wyman started this up. But Wyman, you grew up with the concrete background of the dirt or of the go-karts, right?
Yeah, I was a road course guy, Roebling Roads in my practically backyard, 45 minutes from there. So much of my career was spent there racing.
Very nice. Yeah, I've heard I've never been to Roebling Road, but I've heard it's a fantastic track.
It's a great one. It's one I would, it's a great one. So many people come with the spec racers. That's a fun track for them. Long straightaway, good drafting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a fun the spec Fords. It's a great transition car from like karting into a real, I guess, racing world. They're small, compact, open cockpit. Again, they're spec, so you're not really competing against who has the biggest budget to go out and buy the best parts. And it really teaches you racecraft. So honestly, I'm a little biased, but I say it's some of the best racing in the world, or at least road course racing is in a spec Ford. So.
Right, and obviously, like you say, coming out of the SCCA club racing, what was it like for you to make that jump to full-time professional motorsports in the IMSA paddock?
Yeah, so honestly, it got started for me, just again, club racing, having fun, that kind of laid back racing atmosphere. And I was at the Daytona 24 in early 2025, and one of my competitors I race against in Spec Fords, Morgan Burkhart,
Oh yeah.
was running Pilot Challenge at the time, and Morgan and I have had some good battles on track in Spec Fords. And I said, Morgan, I'm interested in getting into IMSA, but I really don't want to be running like mid pack or back of pack. And I really don't know a lot of the drivers in IMSA. Maybe you can kind of tell me or gauge based off of, my driving where you think where I'd be. And he said, it's like, Sandy, you're consistently top 10 at the runoffs whenever you run it. I think, you'd be competing for podiums and being in, the front half of the field in the Mustang Challenge and in some of the other IMSA series that we were talking about at the time. And so he kind of gave me that confidence of just do it, kind of just go out there, have fun, do it. And there's a little bit of those nerves heading out for your first race, like where am I going to end up? Am I even going to be competitive? But yeah, I mean the Mustang Challenge series has been fantastic. It reminds me a lot of the Spec Racer Ford paddock in SCCA, where it's really a tight-knit family community. Everyone looks out for each other, helps each other out. If somebody's having issues with a car, another team will be more than happy to come and assist. So you've got that pro feel to it, like with the race weekends and having the fans there. But it still has that kind of family club atmosphere because it's just a tight knit community in that Ford paddock area, and they do a really good job with it. So
Noticing at Sebring, it was kind of like, stepping back into the grassroots type thing, what I'm used to at SCCA. And that's what I think is really cool about the series. But, you know, coming into your second year this year, we're with 2 rounds left. How do you feel that you've developed as a driver from your start of your first season at Sebring last year to now obviously being pretty much a contender for the podiums week in and week out?
yeah, very different having to learn how to drive a momentum, car like a Spec Ford that has very little horsepower. You got to keep your minimum speeds up in the corners to be fast. To the Dark Horse R, which is you've got a lot more horsepower under you. You have to almost you do have to keep your min speeds up. It does have some momentum characteristics to it, but being able to use that horsepower and learn, it's two completely different driving styles. And really, I have to say a big thanks to Robert Noaker, who was my teammate last year and absolutely dominated the series. And he's still helping out with data and driver coaching with Will Lucas, myself, and the rest of our team this season. But he knows these cars inside and out. He can look at the data and the video with us and can really pick it apart. Sometimes I get out of the car after a session and it's like, honestly, I'm running out of ideas on how to get fast around some of these corners, and he can look at it immediately and within 10 seconds tell me what I'm doing wrong and what we need to do to the car to make it faster. So he's been a major help, even coming out to the simulator in Charlotte. We've gone a few times, and he'll even join me there and help give tips and tricks while we're in the simulator. So he's helped out a lot. Really just yeah, learning how to drive a big sedan versus kind of like a big go-kart. It's almost like an entirely different sport in the sense of how you have to train your footwork, dealing with power steering might seem pretty easy, but when you're going from a spec Ford to something with as many assists, it's just very different and getting comfortable. So I'd say, last year it really took me about 3 race weekends to start to feel comfortable in the car. Now I can get in the car and immediately after 10 minutes in a practice session, be ready to go, start making changes to the car on the fly. Where honestly, I'd go an entire weekend last year and probably not even make a change to the car because I just didn't know what those changes would do speed wise and comfort. in the car where now you're just comfortable and you're confident that the decisions that you're making setup wise or even on the track are actually going to help come race time.
Right. And obviously, like you say, we saw in your debut season last year, you were able to go to Le Mans for the Le Mans Invitational. So, kind of talk about how that was for that experience of going over to France and being able to race at such an iconic track and what that meant for you and your career.
Yeah, it was a once in a lifetime opportunity. I think that every race fan should at some point get over there to see what the spectacle is. It is unbelievable. The fans, the engagement. It's very impressive, and just a big thanks to Ford for putting that time, effort, and money into making that happen, and because it was a huge logistical process that they had been working on for a few years to make it happen, but you get over there, and I remember rolling out for the first practice, and you're driving down the Mulsanne, and you've got the trees on either side, and it really does hit you. It reminds me my first time at Indianapolis, where you have all the history behind the track, and all the stories and everything that comes with it, and it was just an amazing experience. We were able to bring a lot of my family over there as well to be able to enjoy it. And like I said, they put on a great show. Ford did a fantastic job. Met a lot of great people, and the Le Mans is just an awesome place to be in June.
With the announcement coming out over the weekend, we're gonna see the Mustang Invitational return next year at Spa. How, exciting is that for a brand to want to put so much into their race program and so much into a series that's so, still new, but also growing at a rapid pace? And would that be something you're interested in doing Spa next year?
Yes, definitely something I'm interested in. I think the Le Mans experience was amazing, and I think that they're going to do an even better job at Spa. We were very fortunate to have Jim Farley, CEO, racing as one of my teammates here with Wheelhouse this season at the first few rounds of the Mustang Challenge, and he was very open when he was talking about trying to get Spa, on the schedule. And when you've got the CEO backing these decisions, it means everybody at Ford's on board, and they're going to do a good job and make sure that the weekend goes smooth. It's definitely a bucket list track for myself and many other racers. I think it's going to be a great track that suits the Dark Horse R. It's pretty wide, so you're going to see some good passes being made. You've got your straightaways, so we get to use the V8s, and I think it's going to be a fantastic weekend, and hopefully we can get quite a few cars. I'm not sure if they're going to be limiting the car count. I think at Le Mans they limited it to 40. I'm not sure if they plan on doing that. But based off, gauging the interest after Le Mans for these invitational races, I could easily see Ford getting over 50, 60 entries for the race if the track and the hosts will allow that many to be on track. But I think it'll be a great weekend, and we're excited. We already reached out and started kind of getting an idea and planning for next season.
Right.
Awesome.
Obviously, it'd be cool to see those dark horses go straight through a Rouge. Because, I mean, who doesn't love seeing cars go through a Rouge, but much less a dark horse?
Yeah, yeah, no, I think that was that was actually the first thing that came to mind when I was thinking when they announced that. I was like, I'm trying to envision, driving up there and or even on iRacing. They don't have the Dark Horse. They need to get the Dark Horse R on iRacing, but already been driving through there in the GT4, just envisioning what this could look like. So it's very exciting, and like I said, Ford is gonna knock it out of the park and do a great job with it.
Right, and obviously, like you say, this past weekend we saw you make your NPC debut with Lap Motorsports. Kind of talk about how that experience was in running two different cars throughout the weekend, and could we possibly see more GT4 next year in 27?
Yes, so it is difficult doing double duty throughout the weekend. Thankfully, I've done it a few times in some SCCA weekends. In SCCA, I've done Spec Fords, Formula Enterprise 2 on the same weekend, and then I've also done Spec Fords and a BMW E92 in the T1 class that I did for a season. So I was kind of used to getting out of one car, going in and jumping into another, but it had been about 4 to 5 years since I've done that. But those cars are very similar. So this past weekend, with the Dark Horse R and the Mustang GT4, a lot of the handling and characteristics are very similar. Obviously, with one, you've got to utilize the aero a little bit more. The brake points are slightly different, but it's really just feel and. I actually felt a lot more comfortable than I was expecting because I hadn't even sat in the car until this past weekend. So we showed up to the track and I was texting the team being like we got to get my seat prepared. We got to get me comfortable before this first practice. And then the first practice it was raining, so you still don't get a good feel for it. Head out for practice two. I'm not really sure what to expect at this point, but it kind of clicked for me. I was feeling really comfortable with the handling of the car, and I think it's just because those dark horses in the Mustang Challenge translate very well to the handling characteristics of the Pilot Challenge cars, and yeah, so we went out. We had an okay practice too, really just still shaking it down and getting myself comfortable. And the team had elected for me to qualify and start the car. So I qualified. We were, it's kind of hard in your first pilot challenge trying to gauge, the other cars around you. When are they going to go? You only have 15 minutes, so you got to get out there and get your laps in. But you need to create some separation. So if you start your lap and there's a car directly in front of you, you're not going to have a good lap time. So it's just gauging that space that you need to leave to the cars in front, cars behind. So it took me a few laps to kind of gauge that. And then we got our best lap in, which was my last lap. So qualified 18th, which honestly I was pretty happy with. First time in the car. I think there's 30 GS cars there. So we were, mid pack. But again, for first time in the car, first qualifying session, I was pretty happy about it. And my teammate, co-driver Clayton Williams was big help this weekend, just getting me set up in the car, comfortable in the car. Um, he going over data, and the crew was really helpful with reviewing that data and really just trying to get me up to speed. I'll be honest, we probably didn't have like the full pilot challenge experience because I was bouncing back and forth between cars that I meet the team. We have like 15-20 minutes to review data, then I have to leave to go to the other car. So there's a few things that we may have fallen behind on, but then the race happened, and car was unbelievable. The first 5 laps, I think we moved up 2 or 3 spots, and then I've never had a car fall off a cliff faster than this car did on Saturday. It was wild. It was like lap 5 hit, and then all of a sudden the car went completely away. I think the track temp was rising, air temp was rising, and we had overshot the setup just a tad, um, and unfortunately we had started falling back during the long green flag run, and but we went into the weekend. The goal was to not have any penalties in my first pilot challenge race and really limit the mistakes, which we executed on all of that. The pit stop and driver change was smooth. The There was no speeding on pit lane, no driving through too many pit stalls. A lot of the items that can really hinder your endurance race, we executed on. So we were just a little bit off of raw pace and getting the handling down. And honestly, that's mainly because I had spent zero time in the car leading up to it. So I think doing another race, kind of understanding the handling and the tire fall off throughout a full long green flag run will help out tremendously. But yeah, great job by the lap guys and Clayton for helping get me up to speed as fast as they did.
Do you think with it being on a weekend with Mustang Challenge and it's a track that you were kind of familiar with, just getting more laps really helped your case instead of it being a track that maybe you've never been to before?
Absolutely. I probably raced Watkins Glen over 20 race weekends between SCCA. So it's my favorite track in America, and so it's one of my better tracks. So absolutely, that helped out a ton where I can just focus on learning the car rather than having to learn about the track at the same time, because I've done that before too, and that's not fun. Trying to learn both. But yeah, the car is really easy to hop in and get the hang of, and so we'll see. I think this was a good test, good weekend to get comfortable with the series, learn what it's about, um, and we'll see if we can get back in another seat here before the end of the season. I know there's only a few races left. But yeah, that's kind of the plan is it's never too early to start talking about the 2027 season. So there's a few folks that we're talking to, but yeah, it was just a great weekend experience where everything on that side, the GT4 platform went fairly smooth.
This weekend was Mark's two races left in Mustang Challenge. From your perspective, talk about how the season has been from your standpoint. Obviously, you've had been on the podium multiple times this year, and do you feel that this year has been a really good step in the right direction for your career?
Yes, yeah. There's been some highs and lows. Unfortunately, last year we just had some very bad luck, and I think there was two or three DNFs that we had in 2025 that we were running, top three, top four, and then just something random popped up throughout the race, and we ended up having to either retire or essentially just being way off the pace and just go around and ride laps, which really costed us second place in the championship. This year, unfortunately, Sebring started off race one, and I had an oil pickup problem. So I went like lap three or four, went from I think third or fourth all the way back to the pack, and then had to drive back through and ended up finishing sixth. So we were able to salvage some points. But at this point of the season, it's really just making sure we get those finishes. This weekend at Watkins race two, we had a tire go down, I think on lap four. And then, again, you fall to the back, have to do a tire change and then try to drive through the field. And we were close to at least catching one of the dark horse cars, but unfortunately, we had decided to try to back off when that happened, when the tire went down and save the tires in case there was a full course yellow there later in the race. So we'd have the freshest tires to get through the field. And, it's a risk you take in racing to strategize like that. And, I guess looking back on it, I should have charged harder and tried to get around one or two of those dark horse guys who I think we probably could have caught to get some more points. But, yeah, I mean, we've gotten some good podiums. Laguna is a really good track for me, so we were able to get two podiums there. And Devin and I had a really good race on Sunday. And yeah, Mid Ohio is kind of like a home track for me. Unfortunately, the second race, the Sunday race there, we just I made a mistake on the first lap, and Mid Ohio is so hard to pass at that the two guys got around me, and then I spent the next 43 minutes just trying to pass one car and couldn't get around them. So, you learn from these things that happen on track and improve on them. And I think we're in a good spot here. Cole and Devin have definitely gapped Will and I at the moment. So we're going to need some luck now on our side to get back in that hunt. But Will and I are having a good fight out there. He's a good clean driver and really impressed. Will just started racing like a year ago and out of really no race car experience. So in a matter of a year and a half, he's already consistently pushing for podiums, and I would say by the end of the year he'll be right up there, race winner contender. So it's a good this season where you've got really 4 to 5 guys who are consistently competing for podiums and can put a good show on TV. Last year Robert kind of ran away with every single race. So I think it's good for the series that we have a good group of guys up front and really a clean group. There's not really anybody in the top 5 or 6 that you go into the race being like, oh wow, we got to watch out for this guy. Everyone has really treated each other with a lot of respect, and that's what a lot of people looking to join the series likes to see, where the cars are coming back clean at the end of the race, but you're still putting on a good show and fighting out there.
Right, and obviously, like you say, we want to thank you for coming on the show today.
Yep.
Thanks for taking the time out of your day and obviously being here and all that and talking some racing with us. It's very interesting to hear your career started out so late. Obviously, for me, it started out young. Wyman started out young, and then kind of hearing that different perspective really kind of puts it into the picture of it's never too late to start your racing career.
Absolutely, and especially in these spec single make series where you get enough cars out there and they're all the same. No matter where you're at on the grid, you're going to have some good fights out there, and I think the Mustang Challenge has showed that. And I hope the series continues to grow and we get some more entries here later in the season. And I think this Spa Invitational is going to be really good for the series.
Yeah, that's one we've got circled on our list of. I think that's going to be one of the top races coming up that everyone's going to want to be a part of some way.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And thanks you guys for having me and wish you guys the best of luck here moving forward. And hopefully we'll see you at the track here later this
Yeah,
season.
Oh yeah,
we
for
hope to
sure.
catch up with you.
Yep. Yep.
But
Yes, sir.
yeah, once again, want to wish you the best of luck. We got a little bit of a break before VIR and Coda, but I think we'll probably see you back in some other stuff, and it'll be a fun way to end out the year with 2 fun really tracks.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Right, yes,
Absolutely.
sir.
Thanks
Thank
again,
you.
Sandy.
Bye.
Bye.